Joining me now to talk more about the case is 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty. Good to see you.
It's always good seeing you.
So, Erin, this appears to be a case of domestic abuse, but how difficult is it for law enforcement to keep a case like this from escalating?
Well, this is a classic domestic abuse. First, the investigators had a hard time finding out who really is the abuser. It was a he said, she said. She originally called it in as a suicide, attempted suicide. Then all of a sudden she says, no, he did it. And one of the difficulties is if this is a stranger who's attacking you, that person could be kept away. You could get a restraining order. This is a couple. They have 2 children. They have to see each other. They have a history together. So how do you keep this from going into what is a terrible situation of abuse to something even worse, which is murder? And this is actually an unusual case for us because we usually cover murder cases and how they're solved. This is a case of these investigators and prosecutors who had to solve a crime, and then they had to prevent a crime. They're not trained for that.
Right.
And they went above and beyond, and that's really the story we're trying to tell, because I'd never seen anything quite like it, and I was moved by how driven everybody who worked on this case was to save this woman's life and keep her husband from killing her.
Well, I mean, prosecutors fear that the jury might convict Ertman of a lesser offense, and I think people, when they watch this, are going to think to themselves, how is this not an obvious case of attempted murder?
Right. I mean, he slit her throat.
Right. I mean, what else you got to do?
You're going to say, and that's actually what I thought initially, and I should have known better, because it all comes down to intent. And again, you have a domestic violence. It's husband, wife. Did he really mean to kill her? Did he mean to scare her? He let her call 911. He let her call 911. He gave her literally the shirt off his back to try to stop the bleeding, although he let her hold, you know, he wasn't doing it.
Right.
And so there could be, it was possible the jury might say, he didn't really want to kill her. He was trying to scare her. It was a bad night. And that's, and then if he gets that lesser charge, he's out in a year. So how do they then, or so, I mean, it could be a year. So how do then investigators keep him from finishing what he started? And that was their concern. They were absolutely concerned he wanted to kill her.
It's a fascinating case. Erin Moriarty, always good to see you. See you next Friday.
Always good to see you, yes.